Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back to the Songwriter Show, right here on Reality Radio 101. I'm your host, Sarantos, a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are so important to me, and that's why I'm so thrilled to host this show for you every single Tuesday evening. I believe in my heart that every song is a story. Tonight, I'm so excited to have on the show Angela van Breemen. She's a graduate of the University of Guelph with a degree in management economics and was a co-owner of a dental supply company. After the company was sold, she turned her focus to writing, music, and volunteering her time as a website administrator and director at Priacon Wildlife, a wildlife rehab center located in Beaton, Ontario, Canada.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show. How you doing, Angela?
I'm terrific. Thanks so much for asking. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So I have to tell you, the way you're speaking and you're so polite, I almost could tell that you're from Canada. It's
dear.
like, oh my, there's like one constant in life. It's that I have not met a mean person from Canada. It just has not happened yet.
Well, then you're very fortunate because we do exist.
Are you sure about that? Like, can you really confirm that for me? Because it's amazing, sweet, nice, and it just like I saw that and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like it just happened.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We do pride ourselves on that. I mean, after all, what is life without a bit of kindness mixed into it?
That's right. So tell us about your musical journey, your debut album here. Tell us a little bit about what got you going down this path.
Well, I have always loved writing poetry, and I love music as well. Ever since I was a kid, I really loved music, but I had an unfortunate incident when I was really young and was led to believe that I didn't sound very good. It happened at school, and from a school teacher, no less. And so I was a closet singer, and fortunately, living in the country, it was great because I would just go in the forest and sing. So I entertained all the animals in the forest, and but I always sang and I kept up my poetry, and I always found that my poetry had a beautiful rhythm and resonance and cadence to it, and that which is musical, obviously. After we sold our company, I really wanted to start my music training more formally. And so I was working with an opera singer. His name is Marc Dubois. And so he trained me in opera, and because he felt I had an operatic voice, although I've been having fun dabbling with different sounds and styles as well. And it was my goal to produce an album. I just really wanted to do that. And I really have loved Celtic music my entire life. My family background is Dutch, but one of my uncles married a Scotswoman. So as kids, we were well versed with the sounds of the Highland music and attending Scottish dancing. And so for me, that I grew up with that as part of my culture too, at least exposed to that so much that I just have an affinity and love for Celtic music. So I wanted to focus on that, but I also wanted to not just sing some of the tried and true loved ones of the Scottish songs and Irish songs, but I wanted to also bring in some new pieces. And I have, of the 11 on the album, 3 are original pieces, and that was really exciting for me. The first piece, it was called I Will Be in the Breeze, and it was based on one of my poems. A friend of mine had heard the poem, and she said, Angela, I love this so much. Her name's Rina Valcourt, said, I'm going to write a piece of music for this poem. I said, please do. I'm honored that you would do so. And so it's a beautiful, eclectic piece. It's very contemporary in nature, but I'm quite proud of it. The second song that's original on the album is called Although the Seas Were Rough. And I belong to a writing group in Alliston, Ontario called the Wordsmiths. And during COVID, we met by Zoom. And one of the challenges was to write about the sea. And so I wrote a sea shanty. And what was fun about this part of my journey is as I was writing the poem, I could hear the music as I was writing the poem.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was just so thrilling because I could hear it all as I was writing the words. And the words just came unbidden, for which I was very grateful. The third song, which we're going to feature today, is called Do You Hear the Drums? And Do You Hear the Drums is quite fun because a very good friend of ours, his name is Casey Cole, and he owns a painting company in Orangeville, Ontario, came over to do some work. And during the paint, during these times when the paint had to dry, he said to me, Angela, you got to hear this new instrument. It's so fantastic. I can't wait for you to hear it. I said, okay, Casey, what is it? And he said, it's a handpan drum. And if you're familiar with that, it's a steel drum basically, but it sits on your lap and it almost looks like a UFO. It's in D minor and it has these 10 notes along the top of the instrument, and it is magical. And the moment he started to play it, almost immediately words popped into my head. So the lyrics were there, the melody came into my mind. And so we worked on that together, perfecting it for about a year. But I was so happy that that made it onto the album because it's a beautiful piece.
Okay. What would you classify as your primary instrument?
My primary instrument is my voice.
And tell us a little bit about what's coming later this year for the fans. I know you must have some surprises in store for them.
Well, I haven't yet launched the album, so I would like to do a launch. And so my energy is being focused on having a concert where I can introduce this new album. And it'll be a change for some of the people who are used to hearing me sing some Celtic music, but they're used to hearing me sing a lot of opera. So in this area where I'm from, most people think, oh, Angela, she's an opera singer. But I wanted to branch out. And part of this journey that was so fun is Mars Gianmarco from Red Egg Studio was the one who produced the album for me. And while we were singing some of the pieces, he said, could you sing that in a little bit more of a pop style? And I said, sure. I've been experimenting with that. And so we went ahead and did that. And it was so much fun to branch out. I also love singing gospel music and jazz. And so for me, it was just fun to branch out. Not that I don't love opera, but it was nice to branch out into playing with my voice in different singing styles. Just a blast. I just enjoyed it so very much.
In my experience, people that are opera singers or classical music, they tend to have a little fun when they dumb it down and sing simple pop kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that. Was that a challenge for you? Was it something you felt comfortable doing? How does that work for you?
I was comfortable doing it, and it was so much fun to do. I don't know if I like the word dumbed down bow because it's just a different singing style, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just different. And truthfully, I've had people say, in the studio, and also another friend of mine who's mainly does jazz, he says, and so he was instructing me in more of the jazz style, and he says, just take the opera out of it. So take some of that vibrato out. And I have to tell you, when you're used to projecting with that vibrato, which is the beauty of opera, then you have to mentally think about it at first. But once you get into the song and you decide, well, this is how I sing that song, then it becomes a piece of cake. But at first, my tendency is to go the opera direction if I'm not paying attention and thinking about it at first. And my vocal coach said, it's actually easier for an opera singer to adapt to pop styles and other types of singing than it is for a pop singer necessarily to adapt to opera. So she said to me, this is an advantage because I've had the classical training. And so it's easy then to make my voice do different things. And so it was a lot of fun. It was an awful lot of fun, Sarantos.
I have to tell you, I agree with her. I think that's totally an advantage for you.
Mm-hmm.
So About this song we're going to hear right now, anything else you want to share before we take a listen to it?
The song came from the etheric or God or a higher power. I'm sure of it because the song and the melody were almost there right away. Yes, we took time to perfect it, but it was there. And I feel like it was a real gift. And the message from the song is for people to come together, no matter what your faith, no matter what your feelings about religion and what your core beliefs are, come together, be as one. So people of all faiths. That is basically my message about recognizing the unity of us and our common humanity, and instead of paying attention always to our differences.
Yeah, well said. I think our common humanity should be a focus for a lot of people because unfortunately, I think we all know that that's not always the case.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a listen to it and then we'll come back and have some more fun, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, everybody, check this out. Here we go. Thank you for sharing that song with us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So you're a woman after my heart a little bit because I know you're dabbling in poetry and books, and I tend to do the same. So I'm going to ask you about that. So tell me about that. What drove you to do that?
To write the book? Well, I had the feeling always that I was a poet because when I'm writing my poetry, I feel like I'm painting with words. And with a few chosen, succinct words, you can say so very much in a poem. So I never thought that I'd be someone who would write a book. And I did make a half-hearted attempt when I was in my mid-20s. And life got busy. I met my husband. We started a successful business together. And although I didn't push my artistic side away completely, I did to a certain extent where I just focused on the poetry. And basically, I left the manuscript untouched in a drawer, and every once in a while I'd be cleaning it out and, oh, there it is, right?
Yeah.
And then I would just put it back in the drawer. And I don't know what changed in December of 2022, but I took the manuscript out and it's yellowed and curled at the edges, obviously. And I thought, why don't you at least read it? And so I started to read it and I thought, well, I would change this and that as far as sentence structure, and too many adverbs are being used, quite flowery, and maybe I should just tone some areas down and beef it up here. And so I kind of used the first part of the manuscript, which was only a third done, as a template. And then when I got to that part and I was finished, it was like, oh, what do I do now? And I sat down and I thought about it, and not even really all that long. And I realized, plot it out. So I plotted it out, and then I continued to work. And in about 6 weeks, I'd finished this manuscript. I finished in June of last year, and I was just due to go into the recording studio for the album. So I thought, this is good timing because now the manuscript can sit for a while, can rest. And when I look at it again, it will be with fresh eyes. And then once I've done my edits and I'm satisfied, then I can send it to an editor. So that's what I did. So last year was a lot of fun with artistic endeavors with both the music and the book. The book is called Past Life's Revenge. And it's basically about a young man who's had horrible nightmares his entire life. He doesn't know why. He meets a young psychic named Emma Jackson, and his name is David Harris. And she suggests that maybe he might want to consider having a past life regression done, because it's obvious he had a happy childhood. There's no childhood trauma to explain these terrible nightmares. So maybe it's something that happened before. And so after he does have a past life regression, he realizes that he was murdered only 30 years ago, and he's approaching the age of 30. And he realizes quite soon that the killer is still alive. Now, David is now faced with a bit of a conundrum. He has a brand new life. He's happy. But on the other hand, he's had these debilitating nightmares. They've gone away because he's had closure in that sense. But because he's a young lawyer, he has this sense of justice, and he wants to go after the killer of his previous self. So that's the premise of the story.
Okay, cool. Would you tell us who you'd want to be in a room with, dead or alive? Any famous singer, songwriter, poet, author? Who's your one person you'd want to be in a room with?
Nana Mouskouri, without doubt. I think her music is so wonderful, and I really admire her because originally she was trained in opera. And to make a few dollars on the side, she would sing more pop music. And when the opera school found out about it, they actually kicked her out of opera school. And I think that if there was anyone I would love to meet, it would be Nana Mouskouri.
Wow, that's fascinating. Do you perform in any competitions, or are you not way past that?
No, I haven't performed in competitions. When I do perform, it's usually for local charities. I'm with Procyon Wildlife, which is a rehabilitation center for wildlife. We rescue animals and then release them back to the wild. I've done concerts for Procyon. I've done concerts for this local church that we have. The community hall and the church are very old. and they want to preserve it for under heritage rules. So I've helped with that. I've sung for other charity events, but generally I'm kept pretty busy with Procyon and with my music and writing. And so for me, if I do perform, I usually have a charitable angle to it.
I totally respect that, and I do the charity thing too. I think it's very commendable, and I think it's something that more people should do.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us your favorite tune of all time.
I can't pick one because I love so much music.
Oh, I
So
believe in
I
you. You can do it. I have faith in you.
so what do? Do I pick opera? Do I pick something from a musical? Like, oh, you've got me stumped because there's so many that I love. And when I'm singing that particular song, then absolutely I would tell you that's the best song ever. And then when it gets in my head, well, then heaven help us, it's in my head for like days. So, okay, let me see now. It just so depends on the genre, but I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go towards musicals right now, and it's from Showboat, and it's "Can't Help Lovin' That Man."
All right, interesting. What was the first job you had when you were a kid?
The first job I had was wonderful. I was working for the Agila Historical Society, and I grew up in Agila, and I was handpicked to interview elderly people who had grown up in the area. And it was just so interesting because you have to think that this is quite some time ago now. And they would tell me about what their childhood was like in the 20s. And even some who were much older, they, even before that. And it was just so very interesting to get a perspective of what life was like for them then, because I lived in a very rural community. That's changing now, where there's a lot more being built up around here, although we're classified to be in a green belt, which does offer some protection. But it was very interesting. And I remember how scared I was because I was pretty young, and I just had my driver's license, and I had a tape recorder, which I brought with me. And I was so nervous operating the tape recorder. It was hilarious. But the funny thing is, as soon as I started interviewing these lovely folks, all those nerves went away. It's a funny thing how that goes. But I really love that. So that was my first job,
Awesome.
interviewing the elderly about their childhood.
Okay, fair enough. If you could get rid of one state or province in Canada, which one would it be and why?
Oh, no, that's not a nice question. We're already so nice. How we could ever choose? We would probably take 10 years to debate this. No, I
Yeah.
can't choose. Please don't ask me that. I love my country and I love every single province in it.
Okay, how about America? Kick out one state out of America. Which one?
Well, that's not fair. No, I can't do that.
All right, everybody, you
I
heard her. She said Chicago, Illinois. So
No,
she
I
wants to get rid
did
of
not.
anyone in the Chicago area.
Well, then what would we do? Actually, I've been to Chicago. We used to for trade shows. And I always thought it's so windy there. So I thought it's windy because they call it the Windy City because it's windy. And then later on, I realized that's not true. It has to do with politicians who are being very windy. with their talk. So I thought that was interesting. It's a nice city. So that
Yeah.
is not on the chopping block. No way, San Santos. No way.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I after that, I have no more questions for you now that you kicked out Chicago and
I
Illinois.
did
I mean,
not.
not that Chicago is a state, but the city and the state are gone. So
No, Illinois is a lovely state. Don't do that. It's a beautiful country you've got, and there's a lot that you should be proud of. So, nothing in Canada and nothing in the US goes on the chopping block. I've said this, and that's a firm decision.
okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And with that lighthearted little note, we will let you go.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure talking with you tonight. Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. And to all the listeners out there, thank you for spending a little bit of your precious time with the two of us tonight. We both hope your unique story gets heard around the world too. My name is Sarantos. Please join me every single Tuesday night to hear other amazing artists share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show on Reality Radio 101. I love you all. Have a great night.
When I was with you under the sun, always had so much damn fun. Friday night alone with your smile, under the stars making out for a while. Fast forward to where I am today, hard to realize how much has gone away. Another day with a broken heart, we're just too far apart. Another day goes by, I'm just so empty inside. You packed your things and gave a shout, slammed the door on your way out. Wish I didn't feel that breeze, wish you stayed and forgave me. Fast forward to where I am today, never thought you'd go away. Another day with a broken heart, we're just too far apart. Another day goes by, I'm just so empty inside. Another day with a broken heart, we're just too far apart. Another day, broken and blue. My life is nothing without you. I tried everything I could, tried to get you back for good. I swear I'm a better man, waiting for you to give a damn. If our love was sassy, I'd be feeling so jazzy. Another day with a broken heart, we're just too far apart. Another day goes by, I'm just so empty inside. Another day with a broken heart, we're just too far apart. Another day with a broken heart, maybe I'll make a brand new start.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.